Okay, so we have everybody so far in this webinar is an artistic director. Welcome to all of you. And it looks like some of you have been, most of you, this is your first GALA Festival, and a few of you have attended previously, perhaps as an artistic director, perhaps not. We have a pretty even mix of SATB and SA and TB choruses. And my question about how are you feeling about the festival? Good. Most of you can't wait. Many of you are trying to get a grasp of the details and all of the above. That's great. Excellent. Okay, so we are going to launch in. My name is Jane Ramseyer Miller. I am the GALA Artistic Director. And Joe, can you, I muted you, but could you introduce yourself as well?
Sure. My name is Joe Nadeau. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am currently the artistic director of an SATB chorus in Kansas City, a new chorus called Outside VoicesKC. But I am I'm a member of the GALA Chorus's Board of Directors. I am the co-chair for the festival committee that helps plan the festival. And I have been a long time, just like Jane, we just discovered we've been together in this over 30 years in this GALA choruses. I've been a longtime artistic director and have been to many festivals. So I'm excited to see all of you, meet all of you, and talk about festival.
Excellent. So the plan for today is we're going to whip through a whole bunch of information. So I think unless it's very pressing, just hold your questions until the end, and then we'll go back and review some things. Many of you listed some questions when you registered for this webinar, and we've woven those in. So hopefully we will answer most of your questions as we go through. But there are a lot of details, and we're aware of that. So we will be here to answer whatever questions you have as well. And some of you that have been at festival, when we get to the end, we'll invite you also especially to just jump in and share any feedback and thoughts that you have about preparation. So I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, give me a thumbs up if I did it right after all this long, okay, great. Excellent. So the person that is not with us today is Kathleen Hansen. She was going to join us, but had to move a plane schedule. She is on a plane at the moment. But Kathleen is the artistic advisor for GALA choruses. And she will also be a person that is available to you to help in any kind of way, especially with festival programming and thinking about the sets that you want to bring to festival. Also copyright kinds of questions. She's a whiz at that kind of information. So GALA Festival happens every 4 years unless there's a pandemic. And we try to pick a city that has a bunch of GALA choruses. In this case, the Twin Cities has the Twin Cities Gay Men's Chorus, Calliope Women's Chorus, One Voice Mixed Chorus, and also there's a trans chorus here, and Twin Cities Women's Choir. So the primary three that will be involved are the first three that I listed. We are expecting at least 6,000 delegates. It's looking more like we may be up to 7,000 delegates coming to this festival, which is pretty darn exciting. One of the things that I love most about festival is the way that we just take over the city where we are, and you walk down the street and there are all these queer nerdy singers, not all nerdy, but queer singers all over the place. Really fun. We are already sold out in terms of registered choirs and ensembles. What that means is that we already have all the concert blocks filled with oh dear, I think it's 119 choirs and 45 ensembles. I'm guessing at those numbers. There is a waiting list, just so you know, in case people ask. And some choirs will drop out. So a few choirs on that waiting list will get in. So it's a 5-day festival, just about 200 performances in those 5 days. And we are creating a little festival village for Minneapolis, so that you'll be able to walk in between venues and restaurants and all the outdoor kinds of activities that will happen at festival. For those of you that attended the introduction to festival, these slides describe the venues, but not in as much detail as the first webinar we did. So I would invite you, if you want more information about the venues, to go back and watch that webinar, which is listed in the GALA Choruses Toolkit. But this is Central Lutheran Stage across the street from the Convention Center. And again, in the toolkit, you will see diagrams of every stage, and it lists up here how many seats the venue has and how many singers can fit on stage. And sometimes a little bit about the space. This is a space that also has an organ that is a gorgeous instrument and available for use if you have signed up for this particular stage. This is Orchestra Hall. Seats about 2,000 audience members. It has steps that choruses will line up and sing on. This stage allows for just under 300 singers on stage. And the Minneapolis Convention Center stage, which is the largest audience space, it's a beautiful, beautiful space, seats about 3,400 audience members. And just under 200 singers on stage. I'm whipping through these fast, but this gives you just a sense of how the festival village looks. So this is Central Lutheran Stage where I started talking, and then the MCC stage, the largest venue. The ensemble stage is right here, just beside the MCC stage within the Convention Center. And then Orchestra Hall is about a block and a half away if you go diagonally toward Orchestra Hall. PV Plaza is an open space that will have an outdoor stage for local ensembles and also gala ensembles to perform. And then these rooms circled in red are the kinds of rooms where workshops will happen, where you'll have chorus rehearsals. Those will be spaces right in this Convention Center. So a pretty tight little festival village. This is the ballroom where ensemble concerts will happen. There'll be a stage here in the front, and then chairs out to the sides. Again, there are videos for every venue that will actually walk you through the venue, and those are on the website. So a little overview of what a festival week looks like. The first day will have lots of tech rehearsals and general rehearsals for choruses, and then some opening concerts in the afternoon and into the evening. There'll be lots of outdoor events at PV Plaza as well. And then the usual days at festivals start with 2 coffee concerts in the morning. So these are concerts that choirs applied for. And they are special concerts because they are actually an hour long, just under an hour, and occur without another concert block scheduled up against them. Every afternoon, we have 3 halls running concurrently. And then in the evening, these light blue blocks are blockbusters. So they are special themed concerts that happen and are created by an individual artistic director or a pair of artistic directors and feature a variety of gala choirs. So you will have a chance to sign up to participate in one of those blockbusters. All right, we're going to start talking about the chorus performances, and I'm passing this on to Joe.
Okay, well, hello. Well, the majority of us will have a 30-minute concert block, which includes your entrances and your exits and any setup that you're going to be doing in that time. We generally like to think about programming about 24 minutes of music. So if you're trying to figure out what to plan, think about 24 minutes of music. By the way, if you saw that last slide that Jane was showing you, it had 3 sets of red scheduled concert blocks. So what that's saying, if you go back, go back to this concert block. So you've got 3 concert halls with choruses performing all at the same time. So they're 30-minute concert block sets. And there's someone likely performing before you, and there's another chorus performing after you. So when we say, that 30-minute, Gala Choruses, Gala Festival is kind of a unique experience because it allows so many performances of so many choruses to happen. It's very different than like an ACDA or Chorus America type event. So we are trying to encourage you all to just really take that 24 minutes of programming music to heart, because we're trying to move you guys in and out, the folks in and out, and also let you shine while you're there as much as you can. The movement of the piano or any instrumentalist that will be coming in is also part of that 30-minute time. So literally you go, and however long it takes you to get onto the stage and set up and those type of things, that's all the time you will have for that. The stage setup does include the grand piano, music stands, a drum set. There are plenty of microphones and monitors, and you will also be able to specify some of the needs that you have later on when you submit your programmatic work before the festival. There is every 30-minute block has a 15-minute tech rehearsal, and those are typically happening the day before your concert. So you can move on. Yes. Now, one of the things that we find is that there are some choruses that don't quite plan in the audience reaction. And those of you that have been to a Gala Festival before know that there's a lot of love being shared, and people really are so excited to be there and to experience your chorus. And so there's a lot of applause, and that kind of takes some of us off guard when we plan 30 minutes of music and then we didn't plan in all the wonderful applause that we're going to get. So just know that that's going to happen. There will be some wonderful reactions to your performances. You really want to bring your best, most compelling music to share with the choruses. And for some of your singers, this might be the first time you get to perform in some of these wonderful, world-class performance halls. So it's going to be quite an exciting experience for your singers and for all of us at festival as well. What should you program? Okay, so like we said before, bring your most compelling stuff. There's going to be, by day 2 or 3, we will have sat through several chorus blocks of choral music. Now, I don't know about you, but when I go to ACDA festivals, it's about the end of day 2, and I can't quite distinguish in my mind what chorus has sung what, because everything was very similar and whatever. At Gala festivals, this is kind of different. We're unique. We have a lot of fun. We program all kinds of different stuff. And I think that's what you want to think about when you are programming for your set at festival. You want to keep your repertoire varied. You want it to have, you want to have a little pizzazz. You want to show a variety of emotions, and you want to showcase your singers in as many ways as possible. What is unique about your chorus? Like, is there something specific about the geographical location of your chorus? Your membership have a certain type of sound or a different type of sort of background? Perhaps those things could be part of an innovative work or a commission work that you could premiere at festival. One of the things that we do really well in Gala choruses is we are one of the few sort of choral organizations that infuse humor into our performances, and you'll see that a lot if you haven't already been to a Gala festival. But try to figure out ways to kind of give, like I guess some of the other former artistic directors like Tim Seelig and others will say, tears, laughter, and chill bumps into your performances. Also, as artistic directors, you also want to choose music that will help your singers shine, showcase them in the best light. And also perhaps once you are once you figure out where you'll be performing at festival, you want to try to choose repertoire that will fit the hall where you'll be performing. Kathleen and I are available for programming advice and to review festival sets. So if you're like not sure, if you would like someone to take a look at it, I would be very happy to help in any way that we can to review that set and give you any feedback if needed. GALA Choruses is committed to promoting balance and diversity in our programming and at Festival 2024. We are encouraging our choruses to include artists and repertoire that represents BIPOC composers, women, non-binary composers, and composers from the LGBTQ community. We just want to like showcase, we feel as GALA choruses, we are in a unique position we preach a lot about equity, access, and belonging, and we want that to be reflected in the programs and in the works that we do. So we're encouraging all of our member choruses to take that into consideration when programming for festival. So now talking about your programming flow in your 24-minute set of music, maybe some things that you could do is, I've seen some folks in the past try to program things where you have a segue without applause. You go right into the next piece so that you can get in as much of the music as you can possible. Make sure that there's a little bit of a flow, balance, and interest in there. Be, of course, attentive to key changes, contrasts, and different styles of music that you'll be doing. And you really want to take your audience like kind of on a little journey, and and you want them to be tuned into what you're doing. We do not dictate what you're going to program at festival, so that's entirely up to you. But we will be checking, Jane especially will be checking to see if there's any duplication in songs or a set list, and we will let you know ahead of time if the same choirs are performing the same song. That actually happened to me in my very first festival ever. I was contacted and said that the two groups were performing the same song. And so we made the decision that we were both going to perform it anyway. So we did it anyway.
Which actually is kind of fun. I mean, if it's 17 choirs performing the same song, that gets a little old, but I always enjoy hearing, two different renditions of a piece at a festival. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say also, the other thing I love to do is I also like to hear, I go to festival a lot as an artistic director to see what's happening in the GALA choral world and see what amazing work these choruses are doing around the world. And also it's like a big reading session for me. So I'll sit there and take notes and say, I could do this next year, and I could do this at this concert, and this would be amazing. So that's always a wonderful tool as well. So as far as production values go, you want to help the audience to develop a sort of a distinct sense of who you are in your presentation, whether that includes visuals or movement. I would say that just in general, the movement should enhance the music, not overshadow it, if that's possible. Video is only available for your opening 1-minute intro. We will be doing these intro videos. Each chorus will provide a video that will be playing while you're entering. And that way we can kind of, you can showcase your chorus in that way. But, and there is one video block designated. Choirs, you would need to arrive a day early to do the tech on that one. So the video presentation is limited. Do you want to speak to that, Jane?
Yeah, it was just something we added for 2020, and I kind of forgot about it until this week. But what we had some extra tech time in the day before festival started. And so we just made it an option for choirs because it's the tech time that's really tricky, and the reason we don't allow video integrated into regular concert blocks. But we will allow, it'll probably be about 5 choirs to sign up for this one block that will have video integrated. So you'll hear more about that later.
Right. Minimize your talking from the stage. Be very concise. And I would, anything that you're going to say, I would just practice it, plan it ahead of time. I know as a conductor and artistic director myself, I have a tendency, sometimes you get inspired to talk to an audience and then you realize and look over and you've talked for the last 6 minutes and, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, although we would love to hear your TED Talk, I'm sure the audience is there to hear your amazing chorus and the wonderful work that you're doing. These are large stages, so that be aware that some choruses might feel smaller and more vulnerable than where you're used to performing at home. And so also another thing that is always fun and interesting is to how might you engage the audience with participation, whether that's singing along, body percussion, clapping, whatever. That's always fun. And I noticed the Gala chorus audiences are always very willing. What else, Jane? Is there anything else there? Oh, collaborations and shared concert sets. Now, I was thinking about this slide earlier. Some choruses might be new and they may be a little intimidated by the 30-minute concert block. They might I'm not sure I can do a 30-minute concert set or block. One great idea is to collaborate with another chorus in ways that you can share that. Or you can also maybe try to, maybe that's not the issue. Maybe you want to do something a little different and you want to collaborate with another chorus from another province or state or from another country, another place in the world. That is always encouraged and recommended. If you can do that, pull that off. You can also request to share a back-to-back concert block. If you're willing to do that, that's always amazing. You could get two 30-minute concert block sets, and you can program that however you need to.
Joe, I'm going to jump in because
this is too late.
What's that?
Is this too late yet for this stuff, or?
No. This is good. Oh. This is good. But we have, I think, 3 or 4 choruses from the southern U.S. who have asked to do a themed concert block. So, for example, they are all going to perform together on one concert block. I'm guessing they might open and close with something, but they're all going to kind of plan together ways that their 30-minute concert blocks are going to weave in themes of who they are as Southern choruses. So that's just one example of some creative ways that you could partner with some other choruses in your area or not in your area. And I think those are that's a good way to draw audiences to your concert block if you're, pulling together something that's particularly unique like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So the idea of the KISS principle, keep it simple, right? This is not the time to bring on the large orchestra and stuff, because it will take time and resources that we may not be able to accommodate, or we'll just by the time you get it all set up, it'll be a little challenging. So keep the instrumentation simple. Oftentimes singing a cappella or with just piano is a great idea to showcase your chorus's sound. Be prepared for unknowns, plan for the worst and expect the best, right? Is that how it goes? But sometimes amplification doesn't work. Whenever you add other elements to your performance block, whether it's visual or sound or sets or whatever, don't do sets. But what happens is things can go wrong, and that's that exponentially things start to go wrong. So just keep it as simple as possible with sound amplification and sound reinforcement. You can bring your own instrumentalists. I've done that on a couple of occasions where I have brought the instrumentalists from my hometown because I was used to them and I just was very comfortable with that. So if you're able to do that, that might be a great idea. Or if they're part of the chorus, even great. But you will have the opportunity to contract with union instrumentalists in Minneapolis, and that information will be shared with you if you need to hire any instrumentalists while you're there. There is also a list of certified ASL interpreters, which will be available in late March. Should you like to have your performance sort of interpreted, And some of us have our own ASL interpreters that kind of travel with us and come with us. Others, this is an option that you could use as part of your festival set. And again, you only have 15 minutes for your chorus tech and sound check. That's only 10 minutes for each ensemble. So make sure you can tech within information that you have. So like that, everybody gets that 15 minutes for their 30-minute block. So it's going to be challenging to bring in a lot of extra instrumentalists in that time, because it's a very limited time to do that tech. And let's see. Oh, yes. And Jane mentioned that ASL interpretation is optional and not required. There are options for, you can book a rehearsal space prior to your performance. Those are, it says right there, about $120 an hour. I think if you're using instrumentalists from Minneapolis or something like that, that's a great idea, because you want to have a chance for them to practice with you, and you will not have time in your tech time to do that. Rehearsal time could be reserved in 30-minute blocks with a maximum of 3 hours. That will be reserved through the Integra app. There's an app which we're going to talk about at the end of the slideshow that is for your phone that you can, it'll give you the whole schedule and everything, and you can also reserve through that. Just so you know, that rehearsal space includes water service, piano or keyboard, chairs, and one music stand. You can get music stands and a drum kit also may be requested. And again, that tech rehearsal is not the time for you to rehearse your performance, because you won't be able to do it. It's just, there's just not enough time. Do I have anything else? Oh yeah. So one of the cool aspects there is that the ensemble performances, as Jane mentioned, there's quite a few ensembles that are going to be performing during festival. Each ensemble has a 10-minute tech rehearsal and then a 15-minute set. This includes performances on the opening day of festival, and also collaborations are encouraged. Yes, and so yeah, what they'll do is that, so Jane does this amazing thing where she will get all of the requests and everything in there and figure out the festival schedule. It's amazing how that works, because we would need to make sure we don't overlap and schedule over. Like if your chorus is performing and then you have a small ensemble performing, we'll make sure that they don't overlap, or rehearsals don't overlap in the process there. So that's a tricky thing, but that's the amazing thing that Jane does in that process. There's something else that we're doing, which is amazing. This is optional for your ensembles. And if you know Deke Sharon, Deke Sharon is an amazing arranger, composer, and clinician in the sort of a cappella world of singing. He worked on the Pitch Perfect movies, and he's done a lot of work with a lot of different types of choral ensembles and other events throughout the choral world. They're going to have an optional coaching with Deke Sharon for ensembles the day before festival starts. It includes a masterclass and a chance for each of the ensembles to perform for each other. When I was with GMCLA, our small ensemble got a chance to work with Deke Sharon at a gala event. And it was a huge, boost to the chorus. It was a huge boost for the singers, and it was an amazing experience for everyone. So this is a new thing that we're doing this year, and it gives if you have an ensemble that is that'll be performing, you can get that coaching with Deke Sharon the day before, and it's very exciting if you can do it.
All right. Thank you, Joe. I get to do the exciting conversation about copyright. Woohoo! So back in, I don't know, was it 2016, 2012? GALA realized that we needed to be really careful about making sure that music that was performed at festival was purchased correctly and was licensed. So essentially, it is your responsibility when you come to festival to make sure that you have legal representation of your music, that it's purchased or licensed. We'll talk particularly about custom arrangements and how you'll give us that kind of documentation. We'll talk a little bit about grand rights, but in a number of months, we'll also have a webinar like this just focused on copyright. Tonight, we're just giving you the overview so that as you're thinking about repertoire, you can decide, if you want to program something that you think may just be impossible to get rights to do, this is a good time to just decide no and move to something else, or to start working now to get those rights. GALA's responsibility at festival then is to pay the performance rights, the POC rights. So that's like BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, those rights that you pay when you perform your own concerts in your community. So again, this is just the overview. I have on the GALA Festival Toolkit, I have a handout also with much more detail that goes into specifics about how each kind of music will need to be documented. This will not be due until next April, so you have time. Again, this is just the overview. But essentially, we are going to need you to verify that you bought your music in whatever form it is, or you have permission to use it. So it could be like this photo here of numbered pieces of music. We've had some choruses. I'll just show you this one. Just send us a picture of every one of their singers with a octavo in hand. That works too. You can submit receipts. We will actually be checking to see if you are bringing a chorus of 50 and you only have receipts for 30 copies of music, that will be a problem. We will ask you to come up with documentation that the rest of that music was actually purchased. If you are bringing a commission or a manuscript, some kind of unpublished score, we simply need to have you verify that the copyright holder of that score has said that you have permission to bring it to festival. Same thing for the use of lyrics. And again, on that handout in the toolkit, I have even a sample letter that you can have your copyright holder sign for you to submit. Custom arrangements. So this is a place that lots of GALA choruses have gotten into trouble over the past and have been fined in the past. I'll just add that in. So be really careful. So I think one of the most important things to know is that permission to arrange can only be given by the copyright holder. So that may be the original songwriter, or it may be a publisher. But if an arranger tells you that they have permission to sell you that arrangement, just contact the copyright holder to make sure, or to verify in writing that you actually do have permission to use that arrangement. Since our last festival, Sheet Music Plus has a really great option for publishing arrangements. It's called Arrange Me. Here's the link for that. And again, this whole PowerPoint is on the website for you to download, so you can go back and review all these slides. But essentially, the arranger just uploads their arrangement to Arrange Me, and they take care of all the licensing, and then you purchase it from Sheet Music Plus. It's a really great system. A reminder that arranging music does not give you permission to share this arrangement with another chorus. And of course, the opposite is true. If a chorus down the street has arranged a piece of music, that license is for them. And if you want to use that arrangement, you need to purchase it from the original copyright holder. Some of us will be bringing music that's in the public domain. And again, on this handout on the website, there's quite a bit of information about how to just verify that your piece of music is in the public domain. It could be through the public domain website, or through a photo of the original score that shows that it's from 1924 or earlier. Also be aware that a song that is arranged the original song might be in the public domain, but the arrangement might not be. So you may need to attach permission for that actual arrangement. I know it gets complicated. So here's where Kathleen Hansen is super helpful. Go through this document first to answer all your questions. And if you still need help, send an email to Kathleen, and she is great at helping you figure this out. Oh, this is just a description of what the public domain website looks like. So you can actually see which pieces are in the public domain, and it will show you, for example, if they're in the public domain in Germany, but not in the US, that sort of thing. Joe mentioned this already, but GALA staff will be reviewing all the submissions of repertoire. We're going to be looking for duplicates, but we'll also be reviewing verification of copyright. And if your piece is not documented that you have purchased it, then you will not be able to bring that piece to festival. So we're giving you a big heads up so you know that well in advance. Okay, take a deep breath. That was a lot of information. We're going to spend about 5 minutes more and then open it up for questions. I'm just going to give you an overview of what else your singers and your chorus can expect at festival. Again, this is in more detail in that informational webinar we did maybe a month ago. So you can go back and watch that on the website if you want to move a little slower with this part. There are ways that your chorus can sign up and participate in additional performances. So one of them are the blockbuster concerts. These are the evening themed concerts. And essentially, so for example, there's one that's called Band. And that particular blockbuster, if you have a song or two that you think would be great to contribute as part of that, you'll have a chance to sign up and say that you would like your chorus to be a part of that particular blockbuster. I'm just going to show you these. So these are the themes. The names aren't quite solidified yet, but there will be an opening concert by the Minnesota Choirs, and then a blockbuster called Band. Just use your imagination of all the things that are banned these days. The Love You Leave Behind is a working title for a blockbuster exploring our queer legacy through song and story and art. There will be a blockbuster about the environment and climate change. Global Momentum is a blockbuster celebrating LGBTQ voices around the world. And then Regeneration is musical bridges across the generational divide. So young people, older people, and all the folks in between. And one evening of festival will be a choral carnival. So these will be smaller performances all over the venue space. There'll be some local choirs performing, African drum ensemble, dance lessons, silent disco, but just ways that you can dip your feet in all kinds of events at festival. And finally, a closing concert that will honor the power of people. Your singers can also participate in festival choruses. So these will be conducted by a guest artist, and individuals from your chorus can sign up and be a part of this chorus that will rehearse throughout the week and then perform at one of the blockbuster concerts. I'll just note that this is less relevant for you folks probably, but there's also a chorus called Individual Voices. Well, it'll be called something else, but that's for individuals who come to festival without their own choir to give them a chance to rehearse and perform. Showstoppers. So at the end of festival, the very last concert, we will be selecting some performances that have been heard throughout the week and that we feel like were really, really powerful moments and that we want to make sure to hear again so that the full audience can experience that particular song. So on the very last day, make sure you are ready because you'll have 24 hours notice to get your chorus ready to come back and perform that song if you're selected. More about that later, of course. Gala youth choruses. I think we didn't have any youth choruses here, so I'm going to move through this one, but they have some of their own events and will also be participating in the regular Gala events, festival events. Joe mentioned the festival app. So there was a phone app, and all of your, I'm actually going to go to the next slide because your entire rehearsal schedule will be designated in this app for you and for your singers. So they will be able to pull up and see when all of their rehearsals are, when their tech rehearsal is, where they need to be when. Super helpful. In this app also, it will list every song that every choir is singing, and you will have a chance to, I think it's a heart or something, but to like various songs that you hear in the festival concerts, and then go back and be able to get a list of those songs that you liked. We will have ongoing webinars to just bring you along. I would encourage you, since you're all artistic directors in this call, to make sure that you're integrating other people to help you, because it's a lot. So make sure you have a really strong Gala Festival liaison. Make sure you have admin people, volunteers that are helping to coordinate housing or travel and those kind of things, so that you as an artistic director can really focus on the artistic parts. I know that's maybe easier said than done, but start now to line up those people who can be your really strong assistants. Going to give you a little bit of a timeline. So we are coming up on individual delegate registration. That's on July 10. So that means your chorus is already registered, but July 10 is the time that your singers can actually register for festival. And then you'll notice here various deadlines for the cheapest rate, the regular rate, and then I think it's called an early bird rate. Those, again, these are all on the festival website to just double check and share with your singers. Sorry, I have motorcycles going down the street. In November, actually, I think it might be earlier, but we'll see. We will announce when your chorus, when you're scheduled to perform. And in the past, we've been able to, you signed up for a first choice venue and a second choice venue. In the past, we've been able to assign each chorus either their first or second choice. So we're hoping we can do that again with this round. In January, housing registration opens, and January is also when your instrumental requests will be due. So if you want to hire a union musician in Minneapolis, that will be the time to do that. And then in April, that's when your programming list will be due. So, and when your copyright information will be due. Sometime in the middle of this, you'll also have a chance to sign up for things like performing at the outdoor stage, performing in downtown Minneapolis, other ways that you might want to be involved. Okay. And then I'll bring this up at the at the end too, but these are just, I added these to the member web or to the festival website today, just who you go to for various questions. Okay, that was a super, super lot. Thank you for being patient. Let's start with some questions in the chat. Oh, Eric thinks this is perfect. That's great.
Responding, he asked if any youth choruses had registered for festival. And I said, yes, we have some youth choruses registered for festival.
Yep. I think we will have, my guess is that we'll have about 4 youth choruses performing, and then 2 to 3 more that will send a number of singers and do some collaborative performing. Great. Joe, do you want to add anything before we go into other questions?
I would say if this is your first festival and this is your chorus's first festival, I mean, there is so much to do. I mean, it's you can't do it all. I mean, it's not possible to do it all. You won't be able to hear every chorus, and you won't be able to do everything that you want to do. So I would encourage you as you're considering signing up for events and extra performances and things, don't sign up for everything. Try to limit what you're doing and pace yourself, because you're going to want to also experience other chorus performances and other events as well. And it's going to be amazing. And if you're like me, you're just going from when you wake up to when you go to bed, and then you get up and do it all over again. And it's pretty amazing. So limit yourself a little bit as you're signing up for those things. But take advantage of what you can, but don't overdo.
Let's see. The question here is there a preset for piano and drum set? Yes. I think you mean on stage. Is that right? Okay. So
for example, if I didn't know if we're planning on not moving stuff, but all of a sudden the person before me has it in a different spot, now I have to use that time.
Really good question. On the festival website, there are diagrams of each venue, and that shows you where the preset for the piano and or drum kit is. If the person before you decides they want to move the piano from that space, that movement will need to come out of their time, and moving it back will need to come out of their time. Yeah. Good. What other questions? You can put them in the chat or just unmute and ask your question. Yeah, Tim, go ahead and describe this, because I think that's important.
When I've been at GALA, you don't have, and having been in the facilities a couple months ago, I guess, you don't have time to run out in the auditorium and hear your chorus and run back. So bring someone that you really trust musically, that knows your music and can say, oh, the sopranos are too loud, or I can't understand your words in this section. Because what you hear on stage isn't necessarily what's in the auditorium, although all three spaces are really wonderful. But, you know, rely on them and someone who's been to your concerts and in rehearsals. That's really helpful.
That's great. Super helpful, Tim. And Tim is talking particularly about the tech rehearsal, right? That's right. So short. Yeah, I love having someone in the hall to give some really quick feedback, or even feedback after you leave to your singers, after you leave the stage.
Jane, also, if I may, if people are familiar with cue to cue, where you're going from one major event to another, like you said before, it's not to sing. In fact, when we've gone there, we sing like maybe our first measure, our last measure, and then do transitions. And you realize, wow, this takes a long time to go from song 3 to song 4. And so you may need to cut the applause between some of your pieces, or you can realize, wow, I can really milk the audience for more applause.
Speaking of that, another question was, does the 24 minutes include applause? That's generally yes. So that 24 minutes of music, and then you've got 6 minutes for everything else. So 6 minutes to get on and off and all those type of things, and perhaps applause too. So just know that we're trying to get people on and off quickly and efficiently as possible. So yeah, don't go all the way up to that 30-minute time set.
You have a 1 minute intro video, and that generally should cover your entrance time, because we have it set up so that 3, 4, sometimes more rows can enter at once. So just try to make sure you're practicing with your chorus to move them quickly onto stage and get in place in 1 minute, and then be ready to start. You will, in the app, in the Integra app, when you enter your song list, you'll have a space. So if you have song number 1 and then you have an introduction, you will actually be able to time that introduction and put it in exactly, so that you can tell exactly how long your set should take, minus that applause question. You know, that's always a tricky one.
Jane, there was another question about band or orchestra shells.
Good. Yeah, thanks, Alexander. So there will be a choral shell in the Central Lutheran stage. That's in the church, and you'll see a picture of that in the stage diagram. There is also a shell built in the Minneapolis Convention Center stage. There is not a shell at Orchestra Hall. The kind of cubey block things already are set up acoustically to send the sound into the hall.
Jane, Jimmy asked if there were are all the entrances accessible?
Yes. Yes, with the caveat that if you have one or more people in chairs, definitely the entrance and exit for the convention center stage is the most accessible. It's entirely flat and ramped in and out. The most difficult, backstage is difficult at Orchestra Hall because it's an older hall. So anyone in a chair moving from the rehearsal space to the stage can get there, but they need to go sort of a different route through a different elevator and up, just to know that. And then at the Central Lutheran Church, there will be a ramp to get folks in a chair up to the stage. Did that answer your question in terms of accessibility? And there is, there's a whole, a new website is going to be launched on this Monday, and there's a whole section on accessibility. Scooters will be rentable. There's lots of things in place to help make festival accessible. There was a question, do delegate registrations run out? Oh, or was the number cap? Thank you. Okay. The cap that I gave was chorus registrations. Those are the slots that are full. We haven't yet opened up individual registrations, and generally those don't sell out because these halls are quite large. So we have space for individuals to attend. That said, you want to try to get your singers to register early because they'll just get a better deal on the cost. Alexander's asking, is there a space for us to warm up before our performance? Yes. The rehearsal rooms that Joe talked about are really if you want additional rehearsal time, like an hour, 2 hours of rehearsal time, and those you pay for in the convention center. But every chorus, when you come onto stage, Joe, do you remember the call time is like 45 minutes or an hour before your performance usually, right?
I seem to recall it was about an hour. And then what happened was there were three places. You had your holding area where everybody met backstage or at the stage entrance, basically. And then from there, you went to the warm-up room a half hour before your set. Yep. And then your set, then you went from there to the stage. And so you had your holding area, your warm-up area, and then your performance.
Yep.
So and everybody sort of follows that pattern.
Yep. Are there stage crew who will move the piano, drum if we choose to move them? These are all union halls. Well, not the church, but you are not allowed to move the equipment. It will all be moved for you. Before you arrive at festival, you will fill out a diagram of how you want the stage set up. And any movement or detail about mics and that sort of thing for each song will be detailed again when you enter every song. And the more detail you can give that tech crew, the smoother your set is going to go, right? Because they are like sending choirs on and on all week. So just be really clear about, this solo comes in at the top of this song, or this solo comes in the last 30 seconds of this song. Try to give them any information you can.
And I would point out, Jane, too, and I don't know if this is, if anybody's interested in this, but when we toured the facilities back in April, May, March, whatever it was. I don't remember.
I think it was April.
It's all blurring together. The church space actually has a beautiful organ that also you may utilize in your performance if that is something that you wish to use. If you want more information on that, we can get that for you.
Excellent.
And then
go ahead, Joe.
We had another one. Is a tech crew at the church as well? Yes, there was also a tech crew at the church.
We didn't say this in the PowerPoint, but all of these sets will be recorded and hopefully live broadcast. So your people at home will be able to log in and watch you perform. So that's just an extra benefit. GALA is working out the details for how that'll work, but we're hoping to have all of the sets recorded and broadcast. Tim, really smart comment here. If possible, at your home rehearsal space, tape off the performance floor because you have the diagrams, you know exactly how much space you have and practice. Yes, individual tickets will be available for local people in Minneapolis or for your spouse or for a friend that you want to bring. You know what? I don't remember how much. I think it's $25 per concert. Is that, well, anyway, let's say $25 per concert is the estimate. So if, for example, your partner's coming, you would just want to estimate how many concerts they want to attend and whether it's cheaper for them to just register for the festival, which means they can attend everything, or pick up a concert, a few concerts at a time.
And by concert, you mean concert block, right? That whole concert block of,
yes. Yep. Good. Clark.
Sorry, I couldn't type this. When we registered, it said, do you at this time want to back-to-back or combine with another chorus? Are those options still available? And has it ever been done where a chorus wants to sing with another chorus, maybe one song in between? And that would be up to the conductors then to decide how to divide up all that time, because the time on the beginning and the end does not change. But is that option still available?
Absolutely. So I'm not going to start scheduling choirs until I think mid-September. So get that information in by mid-September. You can go log back in. And I mean, one of the really fun things about collaborating with another chorus is you don't have that transition time. So if you have two choruses back to back, you basically have 60 minutes to work with, or 55 or whatever. So yes, you could do a joint song at the beginning, joint song at the end, but just make sure that both of your choirs go into Integra and list each other as collaborators so that we make sure to put you back to back in a slot.
Oh, so that's a good, that's a good point. So you're saying that the combined piece, if it was one, doesn't have to be in the middle. It could be at the end of the second set.
It could be anywhere in the set. Yes. Yeah.
But just know that all of the coming in and coming out and any adjustments you do will be part of that time. So
yep. One of the fun things that I really love about the Minneapolis Convention Center stage is that it has these really wide aisles. And again, they're accessible. They're ramped. And so if you want to do something like this with another choir, that would be a really great hall to have. It's just an easy way for a choir to get on stage or to sing in the round. Lots of very quick, accessible options onto the stage.
Another Eric said, can you talk more about the open choirs or choruses, the mass festival choruses? How does that work for individuals?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
When delegate registration opens on July 10, there will be 6 or 7 mass choirs or festival choirs that delegates can sign up for. So they can pick one of the choirs to be, and I think they pay a small fee for scores. It's $10 or something like that. And then they rehearse typically the day that festival opens, maybe once within the festival week, and then perform together at one of the blockbusters. So this would be, let's say, 100 singers that might come from a variety of choruses, plus singers who have arrived and don't have their own chorus performing. So it's a really nice way to get to know other singers. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it kind of did. But like, how does that affect like the overall schedule of like when other choirs are performing? And then like, is it like internal GALA chorus conductors leading that? Or are you outsourcing all of the conductors for the big choruses?
Good question. The conductors are both. They could be a conductor from within the Gala network, or they might be a guest conductor that we bring in from somewhere else. What was your other question? Oh, the rehearsals. Yeah, the rehearsals generally happen in the morning. We try to keep them separate from, for example, the afternoons when there's a lot of choruses performing. But Joe mentioned there's a lot going on. So sometimes, your singers may need to miss a festival chorus rehearsal, for example, if you're teching or if your chorus is performing. Great. Okay. Yeah, Clark.
Sorry, I don't type fast. Piggybacking on that, when the schedule comes out in November, would those rehearsals also be on the schedule so someone could in advance decide whether they want to join a chorus?
Yes. And I'm actually hoping, I need to think this through. I'm hoping the rehearsal schedule for festival choirs will be out even before November. But either way, individuals will be able to sign up for the mass choruses after the fall, for sure. Until they fill up. Like we can't have a festival chorus of 400 singers because it's just logistically impossible. So thanks for laughing, Jimmy. So that's the only caveat, that if the chorus fills up, then they wouldn't be able to get into that particular chorus.
And what's interesting also, Clark, is that when you do your little Integra app, which I have up on my phone here, and you sign in and everything else, it will. And if you've signed up for any sort of any of those, anything actually, it'll tell you when all of your things are based on your registration, and it'll alert you when those rehearsals and performances will be. So it's pretty interesting how that all kind of comes together.
So I'll say this again as we get closer, but the scheduling it's a pretty crazy puzzle. So I will do my best, and I have some people helping me to look for conflicts, like to make sure that your ensemble tech rehearsal doesn't conflict with, something else that you're doing. But when this schedule comes out, I need all of you to also look at your own schedule and let me know right away if there's something that we missed, because it's hard to catch everything. So just make sure you look at it, you check your whole schedule when that comes out.
Are you all excited, or are you just kind of like overwhelmed with information?
All right. Good. All right. Well, feel free to unmute and say rah rah so we can hear your voices. Excellent.
We'll see everyone.
We will look forward to having more conversations, and the website is packed with all kinds of information and tools to help you. So can't wait to see you.
And reach out to us and Kathleen if you have any specific questions. We're happy to answer anything you have.
Absolutely. Thank you, Joe, for joining us.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, Joe and Jane.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.